Welcome back, everyone. So we got done taking off our cylinder head and going over the cylinder head gasket. Now let's take a closer look at the block here to see if we can determine what's going on. Around the outside of the cylinders here are the passageways for the coolant that carry the heat away from the combustion areas that get into those chambers. So one of the things to pay attention to those coolant passages is that we need to keep them isolated. And you can see by looking at it, we can see some corrosion in there. That's due to lack of maintenance right there. Too much water, not enough coolant, the properties of it break down. We really focus in on those journals. And let's look a little closer here. You'll see that there's quite a bit of debris that's built up. So this engine starting to clog up. Think of it like cholesterol in your arteries, right? We're starting to plug it off, which means the engine's not going to be able to cool correctly. So coolant changes are very, very important to think about when we're looking at vehicles and watching maintenance sheets and so forth. And we have to take our time and really look carefully. I mean, look back here, for example. It's pretty obvious this engine was already starting to plug off, right? You can see these areas that have been completely blocked off from corrosion. And you might even notice that there's parts of the cylinder itself that are starting to chip away. They're starting to corrode from this acidic properties here and not having the right measurement of coolant to water, or maybe just a lack of general maintenance of getting the coolant flushed. So it's very important when we go through it that we keep our eyes on all of these details to determine what might have been the issue with the engine or possible problems in the future so that we can address it now. We've done a lot of work to get down this far here, and it would be terrible to go in and do a repair and not properly fix everything before we move on. Okay, let me hand this over to Frank.
Okay, you can see where number 1 is the top dead center. Our timing mark is right over here where it belongs. So number 1 cylinder, top dead. At the same time, number 4 is the top dead. I think this one here is firing, and this one right here I think just completed an exhaust stroke. So we can see how they both travel together, the 2 paired cylinders, and here's the 2 center cylinders. So they offset each other for smoothness, and they counterbalance each other. So many of you have probably never seen this, but this is an opportunity to see this. So in class, when you were measuring for cubic inches, first we or cubic centimeters, whatever, we measure what the diameter, and then we measure the travel, where it's at the bottom dead center. So there's 2 terms, bottom dead center, top dead center. And we're measuring the volume in here to find out what it is. So that's how you would measure this. You measure here, and then you would measure your depth. How we would get this measurement. Okay. That would be 2 inches, 900. Can you see that number?
37.
37, okay. So now, the nice thing about the vernier caliper is you can measure inside, you can measure the thickness of something, and at the same time, you can measure depth. Very handy tool, and it's very cheap. You just push it down, and there it is. So that gives you your, what is that, how many inches? 1, 2, 3 inches, 220. So I think you can see that that's almost square.